Okay, so I've made some dimensions and some text, which you can see here is set to the right size, and I've been doing all of this using that annotative option, if you remember. So again, just to remind you, you don't need to go to the Annotate tab to set these things up. It's actually easier to just do it on the Home tab and then choose the Annotation drop-down, and you can see there you have the buttons that will let you create styles for text, styles for dimensions, and then finally styles for leaders. I'm not going to show you tables. They're interesting, but I don't think it's really worth it at this point, so I'll finish up with leaders. But make sure you know about all those options. All of those things are related to annotation. And so again, I'm just going to click on the option there for multi-leader style. And you can see then we've got two basic setups. We've got the standard one and annotative. Yeah. Yep, definitely. Yep. So I'm going to click the new option after choosing annotative. If I click new, then it's going to prompt me for a new name. And I'll just call this my leader style. And you can see there it's got the option to start with annotative, and annotative is already ticked. Just going to hit continue. So you've got the first tab, which basically controls the format, and so you can choose either straight or spline. If you choose spline, you're going to get these sort of curving lines, or straight will obviously give you hard angles. Then the symbol is obviously for the arrow, or the arrowhead, and so there choose different arrows, and again set the size. So again, all those things relate mainly to the arrowhead there. Then, so guys, can you just keep down the recording? So then you have the number of points, and that's when you click the number of points that you can have as a maximum. You can have fewer than that, but again, it won't let you have any more than the number you specify here. And so you usually can just leave those on defaults. And the same with the landing settings. And then again, you've got the option there for scale, which is again already set to annotative, which I've done before. So then you get to the text, and this is where most people have an issue with their leader setup, because again, a bit like dimensions, it's best if you don't put too much into the text style. So I'm going to leave it on mtext there, and then for the text style, I'm just going to click browse, and I'll make a new one just for leaders. It's not a bad idea. And then I might make it just a simple font like Romans. And then, again, like dimensions, I'm going to leave the height set to 0. So, also you can leave annotative turned off. So I'm going to close that. And then you can see that the text height is 4, which is, again, the print size of the text. I might make that a bit smaller, so I might make it 2.5. But again, that's going to be the print size in millimetres, so 2.5 mil. And, so finally, the text style there is still on standard. I'm going to choose the one I've just made, leaders, and then you can see now the font has changed. That's it. Now, again, you can leave the leader connection options on default usually as well. And so I'm going to click OK, and then make sure it's current. You can always choose set current if you're not sure, and you can see there that's my current leader style. Close this, and then just show you how that's going to work. So if I click, well, firstly I'll do a leader in paper space. So here you can see you've got options for drawing leaders, and the first one there will actually create a leader, the other ones are to do extra things. So I'm just going to click leader, and then click a point for my arrow. You can turn ortho off if you don't want that to be straight, it doesn't have to be a horizontal line. And you can see because I've got the maximum point set to 2, that it's going to go straight to my text after doing that. So we'll put in, I don't know, engaged concrete beam. And then you can just click to one side to finish the text. So that's obviously the right size. If I go to model space and do the same thing again, it should be the same size. Okay, so that's what you need to check, just making sure that the text is scaling automatically based on the scale of your viewport. And again, just to remind you, the key to it usually is not setting a text height, just like dimensions. For your text style, leave that on 0, and then you can put the height in here. As long as you're using that annotative option on this tab, the text height you enter is the print size, and that's all there is to it. Now, notice how when I zoom, it's not zooming inside the viewport because I just locked the scale, if you haven't seen that option before. So I'll unlock it, and if I zoom now, the viewport's zooming, which I wouldn't want. So if I set that to the scale that I want and I'm happy with the view, then I can lock it, and even if I'm in model space, which I am, when I zoom or pan, it just pans or zooms the whole page, which is really useful. Okay, so very quickly I might just show you another leader in a different viewport just to make it crystal clear what's happening with the scaling there. So in model space I will again just make sure that's locked, and it is. So I can zoom safely, and I will just put in a leader here, maybe just noting the air conditioning or something. So okay, so notice how it's exactly the same size as the leader down here, even though it's in a viewport of a different scale. But when I go to the model tab, we'll see that's the one I had in the large scale view. That's the other one that I just made. So expect them to be different sizes when you're looking in the model tab. So it's the very final thing I'll show you there. What if you wanted to do some annotation while you're on this model tab? What do you think you could do to change the scale?
Go down to the bottom there.
Exactly.
The ones or whatever.
That's right. Exactly, yeah. So you just need to think about the scale that you want the leader text to show for, or the viewports you want that text or leader to show in. So just like all the other things that you do using annotation. So if I go to 1 to 10 there, and then do a note. So I'll just put a note for the, let's say this is we know that's a column, I suppose, so I could note that, even though you don't really need it. Oh no, sorry, that's a bad example because we're not going to see it. What's something we'll see? Well, I suppose we'll see it down here. So I'll put a leader in here. Whoops. Okay, so because this is 1 to 10, now if I go back to my tab with the layout, I can see the note there, but this is the same spot and I can't see it there because that's a different scale. So yeah, it's a good setup, and in some ways I prefer it to the way Revit does it. Even though Revit's much more automated, this gives you much more control. And I've had some pretty complicated projects where I've had dozens of scale, or not dozens, but 6 or 7 different scales. And it's really good to be able to manage them manually, the way AutoCAD lets you. So maybe just as a very final thing to finish up there, I can show you batch plotting, because I know you're interested in that as well. It's really easy once you've got the pages set up. So I'm going to just give this layout a new name by right-clicking on it, and I can go to obviously rename, and we'll call it A2 details maybe. So when you're using batch plot, it's good to have meaningful names. And it's just struggling a bit there, but that's working now. Meaningful names for your layouts. And then also, so this one here, that actually is a page. You're not going to be doing this one, but that's my locality plan. That's going to be my site management plan as well. So I'll call it site. That'll do. Okay, so what you should do first, before trying to use batch plot, is make sure that one of the layouts is set up properly, because it's very difficult to preview using batch plot. So if you just go to print normally, print and then plot, and it'll give you this annoying thing telling you should be using batch plot. Yes, I know, but I'm just going to continue to plot a single sheet for now, and check my print setup. So I've got Adobe PDF, that's fine, and my page size is what I want it to be, plot style table's right, scale 1:1. Always when you're printing from a layout, 1:1, unless you want to do a reduced set or something like that. A couple of other useful options though, if you're doing your final prints, you can set the quality higher sometimes. Presentation is good, maximum is even better. And for some things you do, plot transparency can be a useful option as well. So apply to layout will save any of those changes, and I can preview it to make sure that my print looks okay. So you should do that before trying to use batch plot. Just make sure everything's set up properly. So now I can cancel it. I've saved the settings with that, so I can cancel this, and now go back to the print submenu, and this time I'll choose batch plot. And so then you can see it's automatically detected my layouts. I don't want to plot the model tab, so I'm going to select that and remove that sheet from my list. And then looking at the page setups, you can see it's on default, but it's already been set up, I know, in those pages, so that's all done. You can save the page setup as well. I'll show you that later, but that's fine for now. And then you can also save that sheet list if you really want to, but you don't have to. That's it. So if I click publish, again it's going to ask me if I want to save the list of sheets. I don't have to. You can say no there, and it'll just plot away in the background. So I can close this. And it should give you a little icon here, which you can select. Why can't I see it? Sorry, I'm used to doing this on my own computer. There we go. Okay, it just didn't show me the icon, but it's come up now with the file. So I'll just choose where I want that to go. That'll do. So this is the first file. There are ways of doing it compiled, but you don't have to. So A2 sheets, we'll call that folder, and click save, and there we are, there's the icon. So that's done the first page, and it should just continue now. It's a little bit slow sometimes, but it should then just keep prompting me for the other pages. If we go back to while it's happening, I thought there was an option to compile them. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, no, I think I am imagining that. In Revit you definitely have it, but I think in AutoCAD, no, you don't. Okay, so it should prompt me. It's just going very slowly here. Oh, there we go. It's in the background. Okay, so that was actually my site, the one that's been done. Here, this is the plan. It should be giving me the layout names. I don't know why it's not, but again, it's a bit fiddly, this one. So I'm just going to put that in manually. There we go. Now it's going a bit faster. And Windows, of course, is getting in the way. Okay, now when you send it to a printer, you're not going to get these prompts each time. It will just print them out automatically, which is a little bit nicer. But if you need to make a PDF, that's the way to do it. So they're all going to be separate PDFs. Look, there may be an option to compile them automatically, but you can always go to your collection of PDF files. So there they are. Select them, right click, and then combine files in Acrobat. So to get that option, you need to have Acrobat Pro installed. So with the Adobe suite, as long as you've got Photoshop or InDesign or something, you should have that. Oh no, these days, sorry, you do need to choose to install Acrobat Pro separately, but with the education, have you all got the education suite? Adobe, yeah, so you'll have that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the education one, you've created cloud, you get the whole suite, so yeah. So yeah, so combine files in Acrobat. And see, quite often when AutoCAD creates PDFs, it does them rotated anyway, so you've got to fix that. Go to the Tools menu, and that's Pro, so why is it... Oh, let's just go Combine, and then I should get the option. So I'm just going to say... no, I don't care about text recognition. So I'm going to save that. It's one of these things, you don't get all the options sometimes until you've made it a file. So combined A2 sheets. And if you want to have them rotated, you can go to the Tools menu, Organise Pages, and then you get these little arrows that you can easily use just to flip the pages. Don't think that when you change, if you just go and change the view, so you can go here to rotate view clockwise, that only rotates the view on the screen. It doesn't rotate it, so if someone else opens it up, they won't be rotated. Okay, so much better to use Organised Pages, and then you can close that, save the file, and then just to show you, now if I flick, so to flick through the pages, I'm going to go to the View menu, set Page Display to Single Page View, and now you can see as I flick through, my title block is in exactly the same spot on each page, which is really important. That easy. So look, the batch plot's a nice thing, but sometimes if you just need to update one page, it's actually easier just to plot off one or two pages, just plot those pages off individually. You don't always have to use batch plot, but if you've got a lot, then batch plot definitely can save you a little bit of time. And yeah, especially when you're printing to a plotter, it's really useful then when you've got a lot of sheets. That's really what it's for.